Welcome back to the New Leaf News presents the Legends Clubhouse. I am Bobby Kaboose. As always, with my PIC, I'm with Lawson Turner. What's up, man?
What's going
It's
on?
Friday.
It is Friday.
TGIF.
TGIF. What?
You know what TGIF is, man?
I was just about to ask. I know there's a restaurant called TGI Fridays.
It's thank God it's Friday. And do you
Mm.
know about you're too young to know about like TGIF, like the Friday night lineup.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit before my time.
Dude, I don't know how I can have a show with you, man. TGIF was like the biggest thing that kids could look forward to every week. It was like a 2 hour block on Friday night. It had at points it had like Family Matters, Boy Meets World, Full House.
Just all the goaded
Um,
shows.
yeah, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, a show called Dinosaurs. What else is on there? I don't know, but probably a bunch of other shit, man. Look it up. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Um, you were not alive yet.
yeah, but it was we had the Nuggets forcing Game 7 last night. That was really exciting. We had a couple
Way to change subject.
huh?
Way to change subject.
Yeah, I'm not just gonna have you ride on me the first like 4 minutes of the show. Like what?
You know what SNCC is? We used to have TGIF and SNCC.
No.
Saturday Night Nickelodeon. Oh, it had like Keenan and Kel, all that. The Amanda Show. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I remember the Amanda Show.
You got the bad version of the Amanda Show.
Back before it, after it had already peaked.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, you had Friday, you had TGIF, and then you had SNCC.
Hmm.
Back to back nights.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah, you can change it to what happened on Game 7, or they
So
forced the Game 7.
yeah, the Knicks won. I said the Knicks. Well, the Knicks play tonight. They play Boston,
Yeah.
and hopefully they win. So it's not a Game 7, even though we all love Game 7s. The Denver Nuggets defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder, to force Game 7, in which in Game 7s weird shit happens all the time. Like
Yeah.
when the Celtics forced Game 7 against Milwaukee a couple years ago. Grant Williams in Game 7 hit 7 threes, and that's the highlight of his career.
That dude, I remember one time in my career, I was in a Game 7 and I hit 9 threes. So
Wow.
that's not very impressive,
Mm.
but it's okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I mean,
The and we had I know we weren't on live to immediately react to it yesterday, but the NFL schedule got announced.
yes.
And
So I
oh,
kind of
continue.
wanted to talk about this a little bit because
Before we dive in though,
over
I do want your opinion on something.
yes.
Did you see the Caleb Williams, all the stuff that Wickersham was putting out yesterday?
Yeah, I saw something that I think you reposted
Hmm.
or something about him maybe going to the CFL or something because he didn't
Yeah.
want to play for Chicago.
So
Is that the gist of it?
kinda. So apparently Caleb and Kevin O'Connell really hit it off in his pre-draft meet, and Caleb's dad was Mr. Anti. I don't want to go to Chicago and stuff like that. So they actually reached out to lawyers to see if they could bypass the draft, sign with the CFL for a year, and then just be an undrafted free agent and just go anywhere he wants,
And
which
he
is kind
probably
of
couldn't
nuts.
do it.
Correct. And the with the if you also remember last year before the draft, Caleb it was also rumored that Caleb Williams wanted equity in the team, which I think
Yeah,
is fucking baloney. I don't care if you're
right.
Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, whoever coming out. You could be the 10 out of 10, recruit coming out. Well, not recruit, but prospect coming out, and you have the gall to, obviously it was denied, but the gall to at least put it out there that, oh, I want equity in the team. Like, dude, are you fucking for real?
But the thing is too is like with the whole CFL and his dad looking into like the legality and all that shit.
Hmm.
Like how stupid are these fucking people? Because like the NFL is ironclad, dude. And if that was the case where you could just be like, "Oh, well, I don't want to go to this team. I'm not going to get drafted. I'm just going to go to the CFL for a year." And then wouldn't everyone do that if they had the opportunity of getting drafted by the team that they didn't want to be drafted by? Like every
Right.
number one pick would do that.
Because I know, over the past, handful of years, it's been, oh, well, unless you're a senior and have to come out, it's, oh, there's the option to just go back to school.
Right.
And that would
It's
just be that'd be like another way out, kind of how like in basketball, you can go to the G League, you can go to college, you can go overseas. There's a lot of other outlets to make the NBA.
right, but for the NFL, you have to declare for the NFL draft, correct?
Right, yeah.
So, like, if you declare, you can't go back to school if you're an underclassman, correct?
Not that I could remember off the top of my head that someone declared then undeclared. you know
Right, and I don't think you can.
mm,
If you can, obviously correct me, but it's so because too many guys would do that. I know there's already dudes like how like Shadur had a list of teams that he didn't want to go to.
mhm.
Well, 32 teams didn't want you, bro, through 4 rounds, so you might want
Yeah,
to ease up that list. Or like the old Eli Manning, I'm not playing for the Chargers. Like these fucking kids coming out of college are getting too entitled, man. And it's not like it's recent. It's been like this for a while. But like
mhm.
to say that you could try to go do something else and become an unrestricted free agent and sign wherever you want is absolutely ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
how did they think that was gonna work?
Do you think, because I was thinking about it with Caleb being like the first, in my opinion, he's the first NIL superstar that came out, to
Okay.
where he's got 6 million in the bank,
Yeah.
so do you think that we could see, not quarterback specific, but a lot of these players that it's like, oh, I don't have to, in quotations, get it out the mud to where I have to, grind my ass off. But now, with the NIL, you could get paid depending upon how good you are.
Yeah.
So it could be a mix of, oh, I don't have to go out now. I could go back to
Well, yeah.
college, get my couple mil, and still be square.
That's one thing. That's one thing. The other thing, uh, that's completely different from refusing to go to play for a
Oh,
team that has
100%.
no right.
Completely refusing is something that,
Like
in my opinion, and I'm sure you're gonna think the exact same way. It's a draft.
right,
So whoever picks you, that's who picks you.
yeah,
Mm,
and you should like obviously you're gonna be making millions of dollars. You should be thankful for just being in the fucking league
right.
instead of like, oh, I don't want to play for the Arizona Cardinals or I don't want to play for the Browns or I don't want to like then go fuck yourself, dude. Like, see ya, bye, Shador.
Yeah.
You know, so but
Mhm.
with like Ewers, I think it was. Ewers would have been like he would have been making like $7 or $8 million in college this year, and instead he's making like three or something. He lost out on
Yeah.
a few $1 million from his
Mhm.
NIL to go to the NFL, but yeah, it starts getting tricky with the NIL because like now quarterbacks like that, but like next year if he would have stayed, next year's even a deeper quarterback class, and apparently he doesn't have the best attitude, but like he's just an example of
Mhm.
these kids like having the option, but Shadur is the opposite of the NFL making an example of somebody that didn't take the pre-draft serious. I
Mhm.
mean, I think we had like almost a whole show about this.
Yeah.
Um, the interview's not serious. The didn't compete in the combine. Like, okay, dude, like you want to just live off your dad's money and say you say you don't have
Like a trust fund.
his money and all that shit. Yeah, the
Mhm.
trust fund and all that bullshit. Okay,
I
whatever,
think
dude.
I think too, though, and this 100%, it varies per prospect. If you were to take because I think one of the biggest things as to why like a quarterback like Will Howard got drafted. Oh, he treated like the pre-draft process like an interview, because
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's a feel out process to where
right,
the team feels you out, and it should be a, oh, I'm lucky enough to get selected wherever I am, and then you make the best
right,
of your opportunity.
right.
Mm,
And that you gotta vibe out with your coaches and staff and have they gotta look for the same mentality or morale, a guy that can come in and add to the team instead of being some kind of cancer and diva, or
right.
whatever you're looking for. I don't know. Some organizations run shit very poorly. I mean, Detroit used to be one of them. Now they're
Mhm.
not. But anyway, the schedule releases. This is what I wanted to talk to you about, man. So,
Mhm.
um, I think this is this the first year that like every team had a schedule release video?
Most of them did, yeah, and a lot of them were really good.
Dude, I know. And the thing is like I at first, I think this became a thing maybe a year or two ago. I remember last year, I think Tennessee had like a really cool one. I forget what it was, but
Mhm.
it was like, basically raved about. And I think this year is like pretty much the first year that they all have these schedule release videos. And at first, I'm like, dude, this is fucking stupid. Like why does the NFL have to make everything so big? Like it's the fucking schedule. Like who cares, you know? But I have to admit some of the videos were pretty damn cool. I watched a lot of them
hmm did you
and
see the Chargers one where like they were doing stuff in Minecraft and they were making jokes about the Eagles beating the Chiefs and stuff like that?
I thought the Colts were Minecraft.
It might have been the Colts. I remember. I know a couple teams did Minecraft sticks.
The
Yeah,
the Colts one they actually took it down
I
because
yeah
they had like the police going after a dolphin with Tyreek Hill's and then they had Minecraft in a strip club, I think.
yeah. It's really interesting as to how creative all these teams can get, and especially due to the NFL's about protecting the brand and protecting the shield and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To where
Yeah,
how creative can you get where you're kind of like tiptoeing the lines per se.
right, and some of them were very creative and hit that line, and I think a lot of them were okay. Like I think this is the one time to have fun with it, and like even in like an old school like battle rap, you may say things very personal things about the other person, but at the end, if someone really respects the art of freestyling and battle rapping, they'll respect what you've said. It's nothing actual personal. It's, most of the time, unless you're, Biggie and Tupac and get fucking shot over it. But anyway,
Right.
a lot of times, like when it's just like at like an actual venue and it's a set up beef thing, like, yeah, you have respect for it and you're like, okay, like this is the art,
hmm
this is what I came to do. And that should how this should be treated, and you should be able to talk some shit. Like, I forget who it was, had the one chick. Her last name was like Song. I can't think of her name. Um, she did like a news report type thing. It might have been it was the Rams. It was the Rams because I fucking hate the Rams. Um, and they made a joke about Jahmyr Gibbs changing his number to 0, and she's like, that's for the no amount of Super Bowls that the Lions have, and
Just goofy
little
stuff like that.
jabs, but
It's funny. Did you see what Tyreek Hill said about the Colts? About the video?
I bet he laughed.
Oh, he tweeted out said I would have kept it up
Right. Dude,
because
and then
it's
one team
funny.
had Mario Kart. That was
hmm
pretty cool. And like I said, I watched a bunch of them at a time, so I can't like tell you the specific teams that did the
Yeah,
specific
a
things.
lot of them
But
they were really creative. And once again, if you're on X/Twitter, just look up the team and just scroll. You'll find it, and they're
yeah,
all pretty good.
yeah, like the Lions, I think the Lions were like a drone shot around Detroit,
hmm
and like having the little helmets up, and like they would take a weird angle to see, which I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. It's different from the rest, but I was wishing it was kind of more like humor.
Creative, yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah, creative.
speaking of like the humor, like the Miami Dolphins, they used that one goofy dude who was getting memed on a couple like last month on Twitter about like
Mhm.
waking up at 2 a.m. and just putting his face in
Yeah,
like the
the
ice
morning
water,
routine.
huh?
The 64-bit Legends did an episode about that. The morning routine.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
schmuck.
that was awesome.
Like
With the Saratoga water.
yeah, Saratoga water
The Saratoga water,
and
and
ice
then
cubes just in a big ass bowl.
yeah, and then he dives into the pool, and somehow he's in the air for 4 minutes or whatever it is. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that's a great morning routine. That's actually all that shit that he did in that video. I did that right before this show.
Wow.
I've been up since like 2 a.m. doing all that
I
morning
was about to
routine.
say you dry off pretty quick.
I know, man. I know. I had to blow dry and everything, so it didn't look, so I didn't look like Jason Momoa coming out of the water, you know.
Right.
But yeah, there was the Mario Kart one. There was the morning routine. The Minecraft one. I'm trying to think of some other ones that I really liked. Um, some dude did a some player. I think it was for the Cardinals. Maybe did a rap.
Mhm.
He just rapped for like 3 minutes about the teams.
That's awesome.
And it wasn't that bad. Um,
I mean,
I
once
saw
again,
Buffalo had Allen Iverson
yeah,
because
I saw that because I don't know what his spiel is with Buffalo, but you know.
well, yeah, because Josh Allen, the whole thing was like, let's ask AI, and then they went to Allen
Oh,
Iverson.
yeah,
It was,
yeah. Mhm.
AI. I'm trying to think of because there was a couple other ones that I really, really liked, and I can't think of what they were though. But anyway, we were talking a little bit about the actual schedule before show. Obviously with that ugly ass flag in the background, you're a Steelers fan. How do you feel about the Steelers schedule? We can go game by game if you want to see,
I mean,
do the little.
I got it all up right here if you really want to go game by game. Now, the only thing for the Steelers, I will be doing an in-depth article breaking down every game on newleafnews.com. So this is just off the rip, short and sweet. The only caveat I will say, we have Mason Rudolph at quarterback. It might be a little bit different when we get Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to go under the assumption that we're going to sign Aaron Rodgers, okay? So we have the Jets week 1. I think we beat the Jets because they're the Jets. A little bit of a the
Dude, Justin Fields gonna run all over your
I
ass.
I hope not. I would.
I hope so.
It would be so damn sad because for the life of me, I was please keep Justin Fields,
Dude,
and
he
if he goes for
he's gonna
like
put 40 on you.
if he goes for like 70 rushing, a rushing touchdown and 2 passing TDs, I might cry, dude. And
Dude,
then
that's
go
he's
ahead.
gonna do a lot more than that. He's gonna put up 40 on you.
I, I
Dude,
might I might genuinely
he's
crash
gonna
out.
fucking he's gonna truck stick fucking JJ Watt
TJ Watt.
or TJ Watt or whatever the hell his name is and just stomp. He's gonna not only truck stick him, dude, and like he'll
Is he gonna do the AI step over?
yes. Yes. He's
Fuck
gonna do the AI
no.
step over and he might even just stomp him in the chest.
Like Draymond Green.
Yes.
Anyways, Steelers should
That's a
win.
loss for the Steelers. 0-1.
Steelers should be 1-0. Then we have Seattle at our home opener. What's even more funny, I don't think we've had a home opener the first week of the game since like 2017.
Huh.
It seems like every year we start on the road. Why? Don't know. Seattle, I mean, it's Seattle with Sam Darnold. Maybe seeing ghosts on the road. In Pittsburgh is one, hostile. Me being biased. 2-0. Going to
Okay.
going.
Sam Darnold comes into Heinz Field. Is it still Heinz Field?
No,
Whatever.
it is in our hearts. In our
Okay.
hearts, it'll always be Heinz
They
Field.
go to Dijon Field since they're going from ketchup to mustard. They go into Dijon. Sam Darnold does Sam Darnold things, and he puts up 40 against the
So
Steelers.
everyone's just putting up
They're
40.
0-2. They're 0-2.
Okay. New England. You know what's funny? New England wasn't favored in a single game last year. This year they're favored in 11 games, which is pretty cool. Now I don't know if they're favored in this one. Didn't check the
They
odds.
improved that much?
I mean, Mike Vrabel's a hell of he's a hell of an improved coach over Gerard Mayo. So,
Yeah.
uh, Steelers should beat Drake May. That's
Okay. So
my whole thought process.
Steelers go into New England.
Uh-huh.
If Rodgers is the quarterback, he sees the ghost of Brady and shits himself, and they lose probably 40-7. So they're 0-3.
So that's 3. So we are on average to be the worst defense ever. Gotcha. Then we go to Ireland to take on Minnesota. This game, if it was in Heinz Field, I would feel a little bit better due to, JJ McCarthy, first year. Heinz Field can be wild. Acrisure Stadium for people that will correct me.
All right. So what's Pittsburgh? What's Pittsburgh's nickname? Right, the city for
The
city
Steel
of
City.
Pittsburgh. What are they known?
The
What are
Steel
they known
City.
as?
The Steel City.
They're known as the Steel City. Did you say that?
Yeah. Or the City of
Okay.
Champions, but which
No, it's the Steel City. So you know where they don't care about steel? Ireland, because they're drunk. So they have no chance in Ireland. Minnesota's gonna roll them. JJ McCarthy is gonna prove that he's still not good and he should have went to a different college, but he's gonna get this victory, and Minnesota will probably become 1-3, and Steelers unfortunately are 0-4 at this point going into the bye.
sad boy hours. Then we have the Browns at home.
Wait, what happens during the bye?
What you mean?
Like, what happens? Like, do they go on a team retreat? Does Aaron Rodgers treat them all to a steak dinner? Does Jerome Bettis come?
Aaron Rodgers is gonna take us to Kenya or Egypt, wherever the fuck he went, and we're the whole team's doing ayahuasca.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say Jerome Bettis comes with like a school bus
Yeah,
and just they,
it
go on a
was.
field trip to the zoo or something.
Yeah, and it wasn't in South America. It might have been like Peru or wherever he went to
Yeah.
do ayahuasca, wherever. Then we have the Browns at home. Whatever quarterback. If it's Joe Flacco, I'm slightly scared, but don't care.
All right. So in October 12th, um, in Cleveland or no, in Pittsburgh. Okay. So
Is that when you think Shitter's gonna start?
no. What Cleveland's going to do is they're going to get off to a fast start in the first. They're probably going to go up 21-0 with Flacco at the helm. And then in the second quarter they're going to be like, "You know what? This game's over. Let's put in Gilbert or whatever his name is, that dude,
Dylan
the
Gabriel?
other quarterback." Yeah, him. They put him in and he puts up 21. So then it's 42-0 at half. Then the third quarter comes around. They're like, "Hey, we still have Deshaun Watson, right? Throw him in. He probably scores three. He probably scores 3 points because
On
he's
half a
no good
leg
anymore."
because I think he's missing all of this year. I mean, unless if you just
Oh,
think it's gonna be that bad.
well, he can hand the ball off. And then the fourth quarter, they're up, probably 45 at this point to like maybe 7 or 10.
Mhm.
So then they put Shador in, and he probably scores 30 points on his own. So we're gonna go with like 75-17, Cleveland. So lay the points.
Nice.
Or take the points because Cleveland might not be favored, but put some money on the money line, 75-17.
Absolutely the fuck not.
0-5.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 0-5, 0-5.
Absolutely the fuck not. Then we go to Cincinnati where we lose cuz
Of course you do.
now it's funky because I don't think there will be a year that we get swept again. Like whether it be Baltimore or Cincinnati. It's just either those games. We know people are coming out of that game lumped up, bruised, broken shit all over because it's just AFC North football. We lose at Cincinnati the next week.
Wait, you don't let me talk?
No.
Come on, man. Come on.
You know what? You have the fourth one.
Okay, so the Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling to Cincinnati, right? Week 7, and they're gonna do their best wet bandit impression and try to break into Joe Burrow's home because we all know Macaulay Culkin looks like Joe Burrow. So they're gonna try to break into his home and they're gonna put up so many goddamn traps that the Steelers won't make it out alive. So 0-6.
Then the next week
we have
Green Bay at home. A little Aaron Rodgers revenge game.
All right, so Green Bay is traveling to the Steel Town. Green Bay sucks, so this game is a 3-3 tie.
Okay, tie. Mark it down.
Yep.
Then we host Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson overthrows handoffs, so chalk that shit up.
Well, they have somebody else that's gonna be the quarterback.
I don't give a damn about Danny Dimes.
dude, Danny Dimes, dude.
I
All
don't
right,
give a shut that whatever you're about to say. Shut that shit up. Danny Dimes is not doing shit.
Danny Dimes is about you're gonna be rolling your coins because Danny Dimes is gonna be throwing darts to everyone. Dude, okay, first of all, serious note here. Um,
Oh,
I
now
saw this video.
hold on real quick.
I saw
Now
this.
you want to get serious?
I've been serious the whole time, but this time, so there's a video of Danny Dimes throwing a pass to Tyler Warren
Mm.
that's literally like 5 yards away, and they're like, Danny Dimes throwing like I'm sick of these videos that are going on X about these quarterbacks that are like, oh, they're looking good in training camp or whatever the fuck,
And it's like
and
a
it's
it's a
literally
flat
like a
or
5 yard
slant,
pass.
dude.
You hit someone in the flat, like come on, dude.
I'm right there with you. I cannot stand where they're doing like not red zone, but they're doing like inside the 10 shit, and it's literally receiver, quarterback, no
Yeah,
DB, and he's just running through his shit, and it's like, dude, you're completing uncontested
yeah,
6 yard routes. Like, what are we doing,
I can throw that fucking pass.
dude?
I mean, I told you I hit 9 threes in a game 7. I'm
Right.
also, Liberty Park's the greatest quarterback to ever play at Liberty Park. So, just write that down too,
Mm-hmm.
as just another accomplishment. But
Multifaceted,
yeah,
multi sport athlete.
yeah, Danny Dimes, dude, this is gonna be the rebirth of Danny Dimes. He's going to probably run for about 200 yards, and not trip. Um, and then he's probably going to throw for another 200 and
Uh-huh.
probably be accountable for 6 touchdowns. So, unless the Steelers can score 6 touchdowns plus an extra point somewhere, they lose this game as well. So I think there's 0-6-1 or something.
I can't wait till we get to Detroit's schedule.
Oh yeah, they're going to be undefeated.
Then we go to LA where we lose
Oh yeah, of
because
course.
for whatever reason, Jim Harbaugh will outmuscle us due to it's just I can almost see the future. Justin Herbert completes 82% of his passes. He looks incredible. Aaron Rodgers gets sacked by Khalil Mack, and yeah, I hope not. I'll cry. Uh,
Um,
no, it like the Chargers. I think they'll be a really good team. I think despite the Steelers, investing in the defensive line, and even though we beat the Chargers last year, it was Justin Herbert had to leave after I think it was 3 series because he fucked up his ankle. That's just my thought process.
yeah, so they Justin Herbert is going to pull his inner Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson and do it all in one, and he's going to be all over the field running and passing just like Danny Dimes, but probably not as efficient because Danny Dimes is one of the greats. But yeah, this is going to be an easy win. I'm going to say it's going to be like probably 9-0.
9-0, a hard fought 9-0, a touchdown and a
Yeah.
safety, or 3 field goals.
Oh, touchdown safety for sure.
Nice.
And it's going to be pure dominance. Like the
We might not
Chargers will
cross the
probably
50.
yeah, the Chargers are going to be in the red zone all day, but they're just going to like be like, all right, we're just going to go for it because this team is horrible.
Right.
So,
Right. Then we host Cincinnati. We get this
speaking of
one.
getting swept,
Huh?
speaking of getting swept,
Yeah, we're not getting swept.
yeah, you are.
We take the one in Pittsburgh. Then we go to Chicago.
Wait, you didn't let me talk about the one in Pittsburgh, man. So,
You just said we got
the wet.
swept.
Well, yeah, but I have some analysis. The
Okay.
the wet bandits, from the first one, turn into to the sticky bandits because they're no longer at home. They go not to New York City, but they go to Pittsburgh City, and they fucking terrorize the Steelers as well because they don't know how to play ball in their own stadium.
Nice. Then we go to the windy city of Chicago, where T.J. Watt will turn into Brock Lesnar and just suplex Caleb Williams around the field.
All right, they're not entering Suplex City, dude.
We're turning
So
Windy City into Suplex City.
the F5's coming through. No, no, no. So the Steelers will go into Chicago. They'll
Mm.
have some deep dish pizza. Unfortunately, the pizza is gonna cause them to have stomach issues, and the Steelers are gonna turn into the Browns for this game. And they're not going to be able to move. They're going to be slowed down because they have shit in their pants, and they're not going to be able to win this game either.
They're gonna be carrying too much
Chicago
weight.
probably by 1 million.
By 1 million. Heard it here first.
Yep.
Then we host. Where are we? Here we go. Then we host the Buffalo Bills. This will be a sneaky close game, and then they'll run away with it in about midway through the third. Buffalo will have they'll score a touchdown to go up I don't know, 5, and then we'll either turn the ball over or go 3 and out because whoop-de-fucking do, that's what happens, and then that's when they'll run away with it.
Do you know anything about sports ball? Serious question. Because you don't. Buffalo loses this game because Buffalo John's a fucking dickwad. So Pittsburgh wins their first game. They are
in
now
week what?
1-10-1.
1-10-1. We go I think we go to Baltimore where we lose back-to-back games. We lose to Buffalo, and then we lose in Baltimore. But it's all good because, we play Baltimore again. Any objections, Mr. Kaboose?
They're gonna lose against Baltimore. Lamar Jackson's gonna do his best impression of The Wire, and it's for them. It's gonna be New Amsterdam. Watch the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. And the Steelers, they're gonna be lost. They're gonna be just smoking the crack and going down. So the Steelers moved to 1-12-1. I'm sorry.
That 3-3 tie still got me crazy. Then we host Miami December 15th, so it's gonna be cold. Tua can't. He might even get CTE by then, so we don't even know if Tua's gonna play by then.
Well, you are correct on one thing. Tua does not play good in the cold, but me being a medical professional, when it's cold outside, your head turns into like a rock. So
makes sense.
It's impossible to get CTE in the cold. So
makes sense.
Or you get another concussion, or go limp like he did. So not saying that he's going to get hurt because I don't want that to happen, but he cannot play good in the cold. So Pittsburgh wins their second game. They're 2-12-1 or something like that.
Emphasis being or something like that. Then we go to Detroit, where TJ Watt will fucking do some mean things to Jared Goff, but it won't matter. It won't matter. We'll probably lose this game 20-27. That's my guess.
All right. So you're way off, except for the Lions winning. I bet you in this game, Dan Campbell will be the fullback for one play, and he's not going to have any pads on, and he's just going to barrel roll, and we're going to be on our own one, and he's going to barrel roll to 99 yards for a touchdown.
Just like Mike Allstott.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Makes sense to me.
Detroit's probably going to win that game, probably 70-4.
So if we get 2 safeties.
Yes. Snaps on punts.
Then we go to Cleveland, where we beat the shit out of Shedeur because by then Shedeur will be playing.
Nope. So this time, Shedeur's already the starter. He's probably undefeated. He's probably 7-0 or so. But now he needs another weapon. So Dion comes out of retirement, and he's playing both ways. And he not only intercepts whoever your quarterback is at the time, he high steps it into the end zone, and he catches 3 touchdown passes from Shedeur.
Wow.
And they go down as the best father-son duo ever, surpassing, probably the least on the list, LeBron and his son.
Nice. And then we end the year hosting Baltimore. It's so funny because I swear the past 3 years we've ended going against Baltimore.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nuts.
But
and we
Baltimore's
get this
going to win
one.
that game too. They'll be having something to play for, and the Steelers will just be tanking for that number one pick. So the Steelers end up with 2 wins, 14 losses, and a tie.
I've got, let me count, 1, 2, 3. We're going 13-4, baby boy.
Yeah,
Pro-
that's.
yeah, probably not.
How you know 13-4 when you don't even have a quarterback?
Listen, he's ramping up.
And is Aaron Rodgers going to be able to play more than 4 plays? Is he going to play 5 plays?
We only need him for 5.
Just 5 plays at the beginning, the first 5 plays of the season.
That's 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, okay.
Now let's go to Detroit.
Good luck with that without George Pickens.
We got DK Metcalf.
It would have been better with him.
You're right.
But yeah, I mean, 2-14-1. You guys get the number 1 pick in the draft. For some reason, you take like a safety, and Arch Manning just goes to the next team.
That would be so funny.
You take Troy Polamalu Jr.
With the city of Pittsburgh would find Amar Khan's house and burn it to the ground, and then see walk on it.
But no, they're either going to be 2-14-1 or probably somewhere around 500, like they always are.
I was gonna say that it's so funny because realistically, like non-biased aside, we'll win 9, 10 on a high case 11 games, and then just get thumped in the first round.
It's going to be guaranteed 7 to 10 games. Dude, like guaranteed.
Like for the amount of people that are like, oh, watch out for the Steelers going 6 and like I saw Dan Orlovsky on ESPN predicting the Steelers start the year like 0-6, and I'm like,
Dan Orlovsky has to get off Stafford's nuts, and 2, the only thing he's ever done in his career is run away from Jared Allen in the back of the end zone.
Yeah,
like I don't know,
smart man. I'd rather
So the Lions' schedule is a little, it's a little tougher than Steelers, but they may go 17-0. I'm not sure. My analysis is, we gotta check this out. So we're starting at Green Bay, which I think is gonna be a loss.
I was gonna say Jordan Love's gonna put his dick all on y'all's foreheads. Week 1.
Unfortunately, I think we're going to lose just because we have new coordinators. We don't know what the offenses and defense is going to look like. We're going to need time to adjust. Detroit is, one of those teams that don't play the starters in the preseason, which I think is stupid as hell to even have a preseason if you're not going to play your fucking starters at some point.
Right.
So they start 0-1. Bears next.
Wait,
they're going to beat the Bears.
Whoa.
Oh, you need your analysis?
Yeah.
I already said they're gonna lose.
And
so, what are you gonna say? They're gonna lose? You're just gonna pile on it?
Yeah, they're gonna lose.
All right, they're gonna lose. All right, 0-1.
Realistically, I agree with everything you said. The coordinators, whenever teams, especially high-powered offenses, have new coordinators, it's a different offense. So it's going to look a little bit different. It reminds me when Atlanta went to the Super Bowl, then Kyle Shanahan went to the Niners. It's even more funny because Atlanta played in Chicago that first week of the next season, and they lost either they won or lost by 4. Can't remember which one, but it was a really close game. That was back when Chicago started like Tariq Cohen and Mitchell Trubisky. So it's like,
dude, Mitchell Trubisky's probably one of your top 5 quarterbacks of all time, or favorite at least.
Never thrown a pick 6.
All right. See? So week 2, they beat the shit out of Chicago. They ain't losing against Chicago at home against Ben Johnson. It ain't happening.
No, in the words of Amon-Ra St. Brown on his podcast, we got something for y'all asses.
Yeah, 100%. So they're 1-1. Do you have anything else to say about that?
Do you think Ben Johnson pulls out some sneaky, crazy, like...
Oh, hell yeah.
Triple reverse monkey flip, quadruple pitch?
Dude, I bet you he overdoes it. against Detroit,
Yeah, and
and I
costing the
bet a
game.
lot. I bet some of it backfires.
Oh, there's gonna be two trick plays where it's not like the fake fumble, but there'll be some wrinkle of
Yeah,
some new shit, and one of them, I agree with you, it'll backfire. And that
yeah,
and that might be what cost them the game, because for whatever
right.
reason, last year the Thanksgiving game, they damn near had y'all on the ropes.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you were gonna say the last year in the playoffs we had fucking Jamison Williams throwing a fucking pass when we're down fucking 7 or whatever.
Yeah,
Great idea, Ben Johnson. Good luck in Chicago. So then we got I'm not bitter at all. Dude, it's like we have like, or at least I have a thing. I think it might be more of a Detroit thing, but like even going back to like the Pistons back in the day, like
mm-hmm.
when Ben Wallace left to get more money to go to Chicago, we were like, okay, see you later, dude. Like, fuck you. Like, immediately when he left, like, we're like, okay, have fun getting money, see what you're gonna do there.
Right.
And he was never the same player after he left here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the Ravens, dude, we're gonna get destroyed, unfortunately.
That
We suck against Lamar. He tore us up 2 years ago. We can't stop mobile quarterbacks. I know Caleb Williams is a mobile quarterback, but it's
I was gonna bring
irrelevant.
I was gonna bring up the game 2 years ago, because it's like it's the young coming Lions, and then it was like
Mhm.
35-7.
Yeah, yeah. I have a bad
And
feeling about
Lamar's
that game, especially in prime time. It's just not going to do well. So we're going to start 1-2.
mm,
But then we right the ship. We right the ship against the Cleveland Browns at home, because who doesn't right the ship against the Cleveland Browns? They're like I said, they're gonna probably start they're gonna have 4 different quarterbacks play against the Steelers because it's gonna be a blowout. But they're gonna probably play 4 different quarterbacks against the Lions because it's gonna be a blowout the other way. So Lions win big against Cleveland
right. No
and prove
objections.
that they're a better team than the Steelers. Um, and then do you have anything about Cleveland to us?
No.
It's
No
this
objections.
week 4 is like the Super Bowl no one wants. You know, Cleveland versus Detroit. Like the only Ohio and Michigan would be watching that shit. Like no one else on the fucking planet. Um, Probably same thing goes with week 5 if we got to the Super Bowl against Cincinnati.
That
But
game
at
I think could be
Cincinnati,
pretty fun.
it's again at Cincinnati. I think we're gonna lose.
The
Um,
Continue.
Joe Burrow at home. I don't know if we're gonna have an answer for Jamar Chase. He might go off.
The
Um,
only thing that would be like a saving grace thing. Number one, their defense is dog piss. Number two,
mhm.
Trey Hendrickson, it will
He might be a
probably
lion.
he'll. Would you say
He might be a lion by that time.
for real? Either that or he just won't play, because
Yeah,
there's been reports of that. Oh, if he doesn't get a new deal, he's just not gonna play. Which is
right.
that's it's his prerogative.
Um,
But yeah, he
at
might be
Kansas
sacking Joe
City.
Burrow.
At Kansas City
That's a
again, another loss.
That's a
Um,
crazy to go to Cincinnati and then to Kansas City.
yeah.
I think
So
y'all
we're
split those
starting.
games. Realistically, I think you guys are beating Cincinnati.
I think that's a 50-50 game.
Yeah.
Um, but I think we're 2-4 after 6. And then I think we start righting the ship. I think
I
we beat
mean,
Tampa.
real quick, Jared Goff is the only active quarterback that's played Mahomes multiple times and hasn't lost to him. 2-0.
Yes. And if it goes, I think he's 2-0.
Yep.
He's at least 2-0 as a Lion.
Yeah.
I think.
No, he's 1-0 as a Lion. He's 2-0 in his
Okay.
career, because it was the 54-51 Monday night game, and then it was the
Yeah.
week opener 2 years ago, last year.
Yeah. Um, and then versus Tampa, we're gonna win that game. It's Monday night. It's at home. We lost to Tampa last year. They're not gonna get the best of us again. So we're gonna be 3-4 going into the bye week. Not the best start, but I think we end strong. Um, Minnesota, we're gonna make them our bitch again for the third time in a row. And it probably dates even more back past that. JJ McCarthy is not going to be a good quarterback. At least not this year, I don't think. He's basically a rookie because he didn't play last year. Um, I he I get he's got a big arm. I get he's mobile. Dude, he did not throw the ball much in college. He handed it off a lot. I'm just saying,
And he hasn't
you
even
know.
started one down in the regular
Right.
season.
Right. So, I think Minnesota will be a little overrated this year,
Hmm.
especially in a tougher division because the Bears obviously got a little better. Um, and the Packers and Lions had like 50 guys on fucking injury reserve last year. So, they're
And
getting
they
like a whole new defense back,
right.
and they were 15-2. So, they win against Minnesota. They win against the Commanders they need the revenge game,
Where is that
from the
game?
it's at Washington.
That's the only thing that
Uh,
scares me. However, I'm right there with you. If you don't have 70 guys on IR,
yeah,
maybe it's a different game. And another
yeah,
thing, what did I tell you after the NFC Championship game? They're an Aiden Hutchinson away from shutting half of Jaden Daniels' mobility down.
yep, yep,
And if Aiden Hutchinson can just stay healthy, now
yep.
real quick before we continue, I don't know if you saw the first video of him like working out post like leg thing, and
Mhm.
I saw the tag that Lions fans looked distraught after his like. It's the first video coming off a fucking broken leg. Can we relax?
Dude, fucking Lions fans can be delusional, man. Like
You
for
don't
real.
say.
Um, dude, they were buying fucking Detroit Rams shirts when fucking Stafford was in the Super Bowl. Like, get the fuck out of here.
We don't claim that trophy round
Rams.
here.
Detroit Rams, get the fuck out of here.
Say we don't claim that fucking trophy round here.
Yeah, like what the fuck, dude. So then we go at Philly. We're
Hmm.
gonna lose that game. Um, it's I think we're about 500, or we might be about 500 right now. 5-5 after week 11. Philly's just too tough, man. I think we might be able to get them once in the playoffs, but like at
Especially
home.
in Philly, yeah, this shit's gonna be tough.
Hmm. And Jared Goff's already got a stint about like him not being a good quarterback out in the cold, which I think is kind of bullshit. But
Yeah,
anyway, um, the Giants we steamroll. Jackson Dart will probably be the starter by then. Maybe no, maybe not because they have like Russell and they have Jameis. But Jackson Dart's looking good in training camp. Um, but we roll the Giants. 6-5. We then beat the Packers at home because we're not gonna lose twice to their bitch asses. Um, and then we destroy the Cowboys. So we're on a 3-game winning streak here. We're at 8-5 because the Cowboys are the Cowboys, and we just win against the Cowboys
and
now.
Dan Campbell hates the Cowboys.
Yep. And then we beat the Rams because Stafford sucks and he can't beat us.
Where is that game?
So at LA. So we'll wear all our Detroit Rams stuff there. LA doesn't have a fucking home field advantage.
I
They don't,
that
they don't
was
have enough fans.
they don't have real fans. You're right.
I bet the LA Rams, I bet the Los Angeles fans would rather have them in St. Louis. Um,
I miss St. Louis Rams.
So we beat them. Then we kill the Steelers. That we already discussed that. It was like 85-4 or something. Um, so we beat the Steelers. So we're on a 5-game winning streak or some shit. We'll probably lose against Minnesota. That game. It's on Netflix. It's probably gonna buffer a lot. So we're gonna be slowed down by slow processing. We all saw it on that fucking Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. It's gonna crash the servers. Jameer Gibbs won't be able to get out of the mud because it's just buffering and like he's like trying to go, but like
He
the
just can't
screen just
fucking go.
he just can't go. So and then we beat the Bears because again Ben Johnson's not getting the best of us. So we end up I think we're gonna end up around 10-7, 11-6.
That's a see. The thing is, like going from 15-2 to 11-6. Yes, it's a difficult ass schedule. However, yeah, I'm right there with you. You'll obviously be a double digit win team.
Yeah.
I think that the schedule is so damn hard that you're right. It'll be really interesting to see at what point do they flip the switch.
Yeah. And speaking of like hard schedules and the Steelers probably going 2-14-1, and being slotted for that number one pick. What do you feel about there's been a topic that has come up about a draft lottery for the NFL.
That would be
What do you
the
think about
no, no, no. It's an NBA thing. It's an
that?
NHL
Actually,
thing.
it's three, and MLB does it too now.
MLB does it too.
This year was the first year that did it.
Oh well, damn. Uh,
This year or last year.
I was gonna say it would be hilarious that they did it the year after Pittsburgh gets Paul Skeens to save the franchise. But
Yeah.
with if they were they I know the NFL is very pro. Let's try new shit. It
Mm.
it would do great numbers. However, keep that shit away from the NFL. Cause you're
I
telling me a team goes 2-15 and they have a 17% chance of getting the number one pick and they fall down to 6, the fucking riots that would happen from that fan base would be insane.
I completely agree. I think it's the dumbest shit ever. I don't like lotteries anyway, but it makes more sense for the other sports because they're longer seasons. Like football
Right.
is, even if you're tanking, you're probably gonna get one or two teams that are close to you in wins. So and for the NFL, look at how many players, especially quarterbacks, go number one, and they're not even the best quarterback in their class. Like, you know, tanking for the NFL, yeah, there is a little bit of a strategy, but like, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson got passed up by every team. Josh Allen, Aaron
It's
Rodgers.
it's really it's also hard to tank in the NFL.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you look at the Jets a couple years ago, they beat LA in LA and that cost them like 6 pick slots,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. 100%. And they've been talking about this. I think it was like Mike Greenberg or someone brought it up on ESPN to make the NFL better. Dude, you don't need it. Like, you absolutely don't need it because, again, there's in the NBA draft, it's different. Like, after pick 10, or correct me if I'm wrong, but after pick 10, 15, somewhere in there, it's kind of a crapshoot, and you're just like, all right, well, I'll select this dude and see what happens. Like, there's not
In a
many late
really
round guys that turn into superstars.
in a really weak draft, sometimes it's like 6 or 5
Yeah,
if that. Yeah.
yeah. So that shit happens.
Mhm.
And so it's more valuable to be at the number one. And like I said, it's a longer season, it's easier to tank, shit like that. But in the NFL, like you find players in every single round that become superstars. So like
Mhm.
why take away from a bad team's odds of getting a higher pick and evening the field? I was on the way home last night and they were talking about this topic, and the local guy suggested on the radio that they should completely randomize every round. So like it doesn't matter what your record is, whatever, like just randomize every round. And I'm like,
It's all
that's fucking
funny.
stupid too.
It's all fun and games till the Super Bowl champ gets the first pick.
Right. And someone actually called while I had a 5-minute drive. Someone actually called and said they should do that. That the champion should get the number one pick because they earned it because they played for it. Now I'm like, what? That makes no. So the best teams just get better or have an
So
opportunity to get better.
when I was introducing like the NFL to my friends overseas and stuff about like how like our draft works, because I'm like, oh, the
Mhm.
draft's on whenever. They're like, what is that? because they don't have drafts over there.
Right.
You find talent when they're young. You sign them to your youth team, and you go from there. You play your A's,
Yeah.
B's, under 18s, stuff like that. And so I was explaining to them as to, so if you're really bad, you get the number one pick. So or else bad teams will always stay bad.
Yeah.
And they were like, that makes sense. So, in the Premier League, instead of getting relegated, you just get to pick the best, like, under whatever age that limit would be, or whatever the case may be. It's not
Hmm.
like that in soccer, but they were like, oh, that it makes sense, because how would teams get better if no one wants to go to, like, Cleveland or
Right.
Jacksonville? It's like, oh, well, no, you can only be bad for so long unless you're Cleveland. Then you continue to get, it's a crapshoot for said player. You hope they turn out to turn your franchise around, or be
Yeah.
like the face of it, the best player, whatever the case may be. Cleveland, I'm not saying that he turned the franchise around, but you draft number one overall, you get Myles Garrett, and he's one of the best
Yeah.
pass rushers in the NFL since he's been a Cleveland Brown.
Right. And you know more about the Premier League. Is the Premier does the Premier League have any like salary cap, or is it just billionaires fucking paying money?
So they have what's called financial fair play, which means however much money your club generates, you can spend that much. Now
Okay.
there are teams
Yeah.
like Manchester City that have 122 like charges of breaking those rules and stuff like that and all that jazz, and that's why sometimes having a rich owner or a group of people that own the team or whatever the case may be, that's why it benefits from. There are a lot of soccer fans that want a Saudi prince to buy their club, so they have
Yeah.
an assload of money to spend, generate, to where a team won't be cheap to whether keep or spend for different players, or to keep the players that they already have.
They want that crown jewel money.
They want that
Um,
oil money.
yeah, man. So, but yeah, like for the NFL, if the NFL were to adapt that, I think that would be the dumbest shit. Because we talked about, we may have talked about it on another show, or just shooting the shit that a lot of teams in the NFL have their franchise quarterback. I think this is maybe one point in time in NFL history that it's probably the closest thing to almost every team having a franchise quarterback.
Either having a franchise quarterback or having a franchise money tied into somebody.
Yeah,
Like
yes.
right now, it's the Saints don't have one because Derek Carr left or
Right.
retired. But if you were to say that a month ago, and I'm right there with you, because
Right.
I'm pretty sure we did bring it up on a show. I asked my dad, years ago, I'm like, do you ever think it'll be a spot where every team just doesn't, no one needs a quarterback? He's like, no,
Right.
all there will always be teams that need quarterbacks. It's like
Right.
the Steelers need one of the future, but they have solid enough now, so they're
But
not in dire need.
do you think that outside of the quarterback position that there would ever be a guy that a team would tank for? Because I don't. Even an edge rusher. I don't think
You,
if you had a Myles Garrett coming out next year, I don't think teams would tank for that.
so you don't believe when the Dolphins were doing the tank for 2 a year?
He's a quarterback. He's
Outside of a
outside of
quarterback?
quarterback.
No, no, because
Well, again,
continue.
like that just proved my point of like you don't need a lottery system because teams will only probably tank if they don't have a quarterback,
Mhm.
and the teams that are tanking that don't have a quarterback aren't winning anyway because they don't have a quarterback.
Right,
You know what I mean? The
100%.
Saints aren't going to be tanking next year because they
Need a
you know
quarterback. They're gonna be
yes
they're gonna
they
be bad next year because they
bad.
don't have a quarterback.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So, the thing about, and two, especially after this most recent lottery in the NBA and the NHL, people like me, that already kind of are suspicious of how things happen. Dallas, everyone knows Dallas kind of got fucked on this trade with Luca.
So you're gonna
and then
tell me
all
they
of a
get
sudden
the
they get
number
the number
one
one
pick,
pick.
dude?
And like, okay, they had like fucking 1 point something chance. Okay, and they don't do it live. Like they just have envelopes. Like you're like, okay, like who the fuck did this shit?
Back in the day when David Stern would, spin the shit and pull it
Yeah,
out. Or it's also funny because, yes, they had a 1.7% chance. They also were the team in the NBA history that jumped the most spots. They
yeah.
had the 11th pick. You're telling me they jump all the way? I'm right there with you on the conspiracy stuff because it's like, in 2003. Oh, the year LeBron's coming out. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
of course Cleveland wins the lottery.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the suspicion things that we'll never fucking know. But it's a great
Right.
story or something to think or ponder on, and it's also pretty cool because Dallas also has the number one pick in the WNBA draft too. So if you're a Dallas
Yeah.
basketball fan, it's pretty cool that you're gonna get Cooper Flag and you got Paige Beckers, who should be awesome. And
And
speaking of the NBA season, real quick.
Utah Jazz never has had the number one pick, and they've moved down the most.
Dude,
And
they have been so bad for so fucking long, dude.
but think about it, man. Think about it. If you're an NBA player, or anyone in fucking general, I'll say out of the fucking 50 states in the fucking United States, Utah's probably in the bottom 5 that you're gonna fucking live in, right? Just
110%.
saying.
There's nothing fucking there
There's a
besides
lake
Vegas.
and mountains
Oh, my
and
bad. Vegas
Mormons
is in Nevada.
and
My
truck.
bad. My dumbass. Vegas is in Nevada. But yeah, it's like there's fucking for Utah. There's literally like Salt Lake City, and that's it.
Yeah, and a lot of it's dry county. You can't drink, you know.
So
So
you just gotta suffer through it sober.
right. So you're either popping pills. We talked about this the other day. Mormons are, you're either popping pills or, committing suicide out there. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they do for fun. Like I wouldn't want to live there. Like shit, dude. Like that's got to be the Utah's area. The Mammoth. I'm gonna say they're fucking sweet. Their jerseys are awesome and all that shit. But Utah's got to be the most undesirable sports city, if you want to call them that,
Yeah.
in major sports.
I'm right there with you. With the for and it's funny because they do have they have a few nice pieces for the Jazz, but I'm right there with you. They've been bad for so fucking long. Like
Yep.
they had a nice team with Rudy Gobert and Joe Ingles and Gordon Hayward and Donovan Mitchell, and then they all fucking leave, retire, whatever the case may be. And then now they're back to being bad, and they were fucking dog ass last year, and they get shafted out of a top 4 pick.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's why like because I'm so sick of these goddamn lotteries because it seemed like the Red Wings the Red Wings should have had the number one pick like fucking like 4 times, and the Pistons they always just get fucked and I'm like dude like for the fact that these things I don't know about the NHL because I don't pay attention, but for the fact that these aren't televised as far as like showing them picking it, you
Yeah,
know, they're it's stupid.
there is room for doubt. That's why
Yeah.
whenever things happen off screen, there's always room for interpretation, and that's when the question marks arise as to, oh, so you're telling me I just pulled the rabbit out of the hat?
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, that's why I like WWE because they admit that they're scripted.
Yeah,
Just
it's
saying.
scripted entertainment. It's just like regular TV or movies.
Just like the NBA, just like the NFL. They just need to admit it. Like, dude, like some of this shit, man. Like I said, man, it pisses me off because it's like, yeah. Oh, I wish I would have put 2 and 2 together before. I'd even look at Dallas as far as like being in the lottery because you could bet on the lottery, and I was literally gonna pick like one of the first like top 4 teams to get the number one pick because the odds were like plus 600. If I would have thought about it, I would definitely put money on the Dallas. Like no fucking doubt, dude. No doubt.
Even even $5 probably would have ran you 5 racks.
Right. Because even like Kyrie Irving going to the fucking Cleveland, like, oh, Cleveland, LeBron's hurt. Or wasn't LeBron hurt or something? And that's why they were so bad.
No,
Or did he come back?
that was when LeBron left when they got Kyrie and Anthony Bennett in back-to-back years.
Yeah. And yeah, it just, stupid shit, dude. Stupid shit.
Of course, LeBron leaves. Cleveland gets the Cleveland gets Kyrie. You know,
Yep.
it's just funny stuff like that. But yeah, whenever stuff, like I said, whenever stuff happens off screen, that's when that's when there's room for interpretation.
Right.
And us as consumers, we don't want that. Just give us whatever it is, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah. Just make it fucking even and make it equal and consistent. But anyway, it's
I,
been a great Friday show. You got any
yeah.
plans for the weekend, man?
Game 7, and that's about it. Not really much, going on.
I don't have much going on either.
Mm,
Probably just gonna relax and maybe write some articles for newleafnews.network.com. Go to there. You'll get daily great content.
mm.
We have 5 fabulous writers. Um, and we pay. That's a big thing around content mills. We are not a content mill, but anyway, um, hopefully everyone has a good weekend.
Mm.
Thanks for joining us at the Legends Clubhouse. We're live Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment. You have a show topic that you want us to discuss. We always do crazy shit on Wednesdays usually, but we try to mix stuff in here and there on Mondays and Fridays. Like I said, go to newleafnews.network.com. It takes you to the same great site. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, X. Like I said, YouTube at New Leaf News. I'm at Bobby Kaboose on Instagram, on Twitter or X. Check out my other show, 64-Bit Legends. We usually have an episode once a week. You can also find that under the Pods and More section on New Leaf News. Melvin Troy is actually one of our writers now. I'm looking forward to reading his work, or not reading his work, as we found out the other night that I have never read any of your guys' shit. Not to advertise that, but I
Can the
don't read that much.
can the caboose not read?
Dude, I can write. I don't know if I can read, but so but yeah, check us out at 64-Bit Legends. On the gram, on YouTube, wherever you can find podcasts. Lawson Turner at Lawson_1226. That might be his birthday, so if it is, send them a gift card the day after Christmas. I know you probably spent all your money on your loved ones, but hey, if you got an extra $25, send it his way. He'll send his Cash App or his Venmo, and he's taking donations.
The the PO box will be.
Other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Lawson, why don't you take us out, and we'll see you on Monday, baby.
As always, for New Leaf News and the Legends Clubhouse, I'm Lawson Turner. That's Bobby Caboose. Like Mr. Caboose just said, we hope you enjoy your weekend, and we will see you guys Monday morning at 7:30 Eastern. Until next time, we will see y'all later. Take care.
Peace out.